Well, good afternoon, Longhaultanker, straight razor shaving with Longhaultanker. And as you can see, I am at home, got home today, about 1300, 1 o'clock. It's now 1400, 1600, 4 o'clock Central Time, and I'm at home, straight razor shave, got to get cleaned up, blah, 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 blah. So got a doctor's appointment on Tuesday, so I will be home until at least Wednesday or Thursday. And here we are. What'd you think of my intro? I think it's clear to anybody that has two brain cells that are working that the President of the United States of America is a senile, doddering fool. And I would much rather believe the lies of Putin than the lies of Biden. Just that simple. But that's not how I vote. So, so I think you saw Tucker's interview with Putin, which I think was just masterful. So I don't think there's much to fear there with Putin, as everybody wants to make out, the media, mainstream media that is. And so I hasten the day of Ukraine's demise. And I understand that Zelensky purchased on the very day that Victoria Nuland come to visit Zelensky to assure him that she was not going to resign and that she was going to stay on hours before she didn't. He knew it was a lie, and she lied to him anyway. Hours before he bought a new home in Dubai. Go figure. Go figure. You can find that stuff on the internet. Hey, listen, I may be educated, but I'm just a truck driver. But I do have lots of time to read and listen, and I hear this stuff. So now I will admit I don't listen to mainstream media, so take that for what it's worth. Our equipment today, I have not had a shave since the last video where I used the Philharmonica Novo Dur, and so I've got about 3 days, 3.5 days of whisker growth on my face, and this is the Inox number 13, and it's just a beautiful razor. It's just a beautiful, got nice etching, beautiful gold, and so we'll set that over there to the side. We're going to use Martin de Condre Original. Got a nice bergamot and lavender smell to it. It's just fabulous. And to complement the French soap, we'll use the French brush, Poisson. Let me get that right up in there. Poisson number 20 with 30 millimeter knot, high mountain white bristles. And let's do this. Had a nice hot shower just a bit ago. So the trip home was uneventful, very, very nice. I come out of the delivery was at 0600. I got into place and parked for the delivery at 0530 Wednesday morning. And they didn't come out to start unloading until 0700. And of course, our company and also the shipping company whose product we're carrying, they want to know everything that happens and why it happens. And it's not just a question of dates and times. What time did you get there? What time they start unloading? Blah, blah, blah. But they're supposed to, by contract, they're supposed to start unloading, within a certain period of time, 10, 15 minutes of arrival and in place. And they didn't. And so I'm always supposed to ask, well, why? Sometimes they don't like being asked why, you know? And so sometimes that's a little touchy. But those guys up there are pretty good, pretty nice. Sometimes they're not. I mean, I don't mean them, but other places. You start asking why this, why that, and well, why do you want to know? Well, because it'll affect whether or not you have to pay demurrage, which is something the recipient, the consignee, has to pay, keeping me waiting. They're not supposed to keep me waiting. They're supposed to be on it. Supposed to be on it. And so I asked, he said, well, sometimes the other guy, him, and the other guy sometimes get a little busy doing what they're doing. He said they've been there since 5 o'clock and they're doing other things. And we were too busy to come get you started at 6 o'clock. Oh, okay. That's what you want to go with. That's fine with me. I'll just write it down here. Now, once it hits the chain of command, once that paperwork gets entered into the system, and whoever, whenever, wherever they read it, the superiors, they'll say, yeah, why? You're telling me you were too busy? Oh, that just smells absolutely wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. I got some music playing in the background. Now, it's certainly loud enough for me, and I don't know if you can hear it. This nice, deep, relaxing style music. I was going to find some Russian patriotic music to play, but they didn't have anything, in my opinion, suitable. That is to say, of quality recording. But I'm glad to be home for a few days. I've been going pretty good here for the last several weeks, which has been better than the last several months and even the last couple of years. Been dead slow. But I expected here before too very long to go dead slow again. I have absolutely no faith in the economy. The commercial real estate bust is about to hit us full force, and that alone, along with China's Evergrande collapse, will send us likely into a worldwide economic depression. Now, I don't know what that'll look like, but the people I listen to, that's what they're saying. Larry Kudlow, Gerald Celente, others of that caliber is who I listen to. All right. Philharmonica, Inox. I do a lot of reading on zeroheads.com too. Of course, the Inox, stainless steel. This was honed up on the Shafton Glass 30,000. And this thing is just ripping them off. I can hear it. You can probably hear it too. So they got me unloaded and I was out of there by 8 o'clock, 0800 Wednesday morning, and made it all the way down to Steele, Missouri. I think I got stopped by 6 or 7 o'clock, 1800, 1700 that evening. All those whiskers felt so bristly. Glad to get them off. I don't have a lot to say today. I haven't had, well, that is to say, I looked and I didn't see very many videos last night. But I did see after I got home that Martin's got one up, and I think there's a couple of others of my regulars, which would be Martin Test Shaves, Dapper Shaves, Jock in South Africa. Who else? I think that's, well, Bill M., he's a regular. But he does one every week or two. Outside temperature, when I last looked a little while ago, about an hour and a half or so, was 81 degrees Fahrenheit. And I've got a couple of honeydew things I've got to do outside tomorrow after I get up and going. Spring is coming on pretty good, which means summer won't be far behind. And the temperatures will be blazing hot. I want to make sure that the air conditioner has got its springtime cleaning maintenance. Change some air filters if they need to be changed. My wife called me while I was on the road, and she says, because about 8 weeks ago we turned the irrigation lawn sprinkler system off on the side of the house. And she called me and said, "Now how do I turn this back on?" And I said, "Well, you don't normally, I do." "Yeah, but I want to turn it on now." The lawn guys had been here and with fertilizer and such, and she wanted to get the sprinkler going. And so I walked her through it. It's just 2 valves is all it is, really. On the side of, we have a fairly new house. In fact, it was new built, brand new when we moved in. They built it to our specifications. And that is to say, one of these subdivision homes that you say, "Yeah, I want that floor model," and then they say, "Okay, come over to our building center and pick out the accessories that you want." And then you get to pick out the granite and the tile and carpeting if you want carpeting, or the wood flooring if you want wood flooring, and all the different grades that they have. And so that was about a little over 5 years ago. But there are just little things you got to do, or should do, so you don't have breakdowns or they occur less often. Like changing our AC system in the house has a central filter. You don't have to change filters in every room like a lot of houses. And and flush out the hot water heater. At least every 2 years. Everybody says you're supposed to do it every year, but I do it every 2 years. And I don't do a lot by way of handyman type stuff, but I'll spot paint around the house when I need to. It's less expensive than calling some tradesman out here and say, yeah, all we really need is this and this, and all of a sudden you pay about 4 times more than what you were expecting to. And that's there are at least some little thing. I hate yard work, so I don't do yard work. I told my wife when we married 15 years ago, I said, I've done enough yard work. I am not doing any more. And so the townhouse that we bought in 2015 and this place, well, this has got a pretty good sized yard. The townhouse had almost no yard. And so, just a little weed eating is really all. I bought a new shears for my head. The set the electric head razor I've got in the truck that I've carried with me. I've had that thing for years, decades even, but it's got 2 broken teeth on it now, and it's been cutting me the last couple of times I've used it, and I said, nope, no more of that. Now I have some here at the house. You just don't carry stuff back and forth between the truck and home. It's just, I'd have I'd have a dozen moving boxes. and I try to keep it as simple as possible what gear I've got to transfer back and forth between the house. And really what it's come down to is two carrying bags of groceries that'll last me anywhere from a week to 2 weeks on the road. I'm not satisfied with that. Better. And then one carrying bag with all my shave gear that I take with me on a trip. And the other bag is miscellaneous, which largely consists of my Rand McNally GPS. I don't leave that in the truck. That's personal and belongs to me and expensive. And sometimes I carry my prescriptions back and forth with me, sometimes. And my glasses, I carry 3 pair of glasses with me. One reading glasses, prescription sunglasses, and my regular glasses. Sorry about that. Had to wipe some soap off of the camera. And that's really about it. Everything else remains in the truck. And when I say everything else, my CB radio is wired in the truck. My personal refrigerator is in the truck. See, I've got a duffel bag with a change of clothes in the one of the stand-up cabinets on the wall. Yeah, that last video that I did Tuesday morning that I started uploading when I turned the lights out Tuesday night after I got up to Portage, Wisconsin. It took almost 18 hours for that thing to load up to YouTube. So I think it got finished up at sometime Wednesday evening, late afternoon, I think, if I remember right. So I went by my friend's house, Randy, on the way home and delivered to him a round container packed with cella, red cella. But he didn't answer his door. I called him twice, let him know I was coming, and texted him, no reply. And so I got there to his house, called him again, no reply. And he's 75 years old. And so I wasn't exactly worried, but no more than you'd worry about anybody else at 75. He called me later, but the container of soap, there was no easy place to put it. And his driveway comes up on the back of his house. He lives in a little subdivision, attached houses. And there's the right, from the garage to the right, there's a little piece of yard with a fence. And I couldn't even get the garage door to budge up a little bit. I was going to slip it underneath the garage door. No, couldn't do that. But right to the right of the garage was a fence line with a 4x4 post with about that much space between the garage and the 4x4 post. So I took that little round container and slipped it in there and just behind the post, so it'd be on his side of the yard. And so he called and I told him where it was at, and I said, that side's your side, right? Because the other side's the neighbor's, right? He said, yeah, that's right. So I had it right. He said, well, go out there and you'll see it right behind that 4x4 post on your side of the yard. And he stepped out there and said, yeah, I see it. When I first got this Martin de Condé original soap, I didn't think the lavender scent was very strong. Now, it may be that as long as I've used it now, almost a year, and I use those, I got 5 different Martin de Condés, and the more I use them, I think the little deeper I'm getting into the jar, and I think that's making the scent come out. I could be just fabricating that whole thing, and I don't know. But I'll tell you, it smells just absolutely delightful. It smells strong, even almost pungent, which that's too strong a word. That makes it sound like it's a bad thing, and it's not. It's just very strong, which I don't remember a year ago it being this strong. Which is not a big surprise because there's a lot of things I don't remember from a year ago. There is nothing like a straight razor shave that with a sharp razor, using the finest accessories that the world can provide. French soap, French brush, Spanish steel razor. And when I started this hobby 9 years ago, this is where I wanted to be, right here. I didn't know hardly anything about what I was doing. But I learned. Watching videos, reading threads, in the forums. Yeah, I go over and look at the forums from time to time. Anymore, I don't log in. I just read the threads. If I'm looking, especially if I'm looking for a particular piece of information, what about this? What about that? I got some lather a little too close to the pin. Didn't get in there, didn't get down on the plastic, but it's just on the tang and on the jimps. And I gotta wipe that off because I don't want it to get down, any moisture or lather to get down in toward the pin. Just wonderful. If I wanted to, I could probably stop right there. Just stop right there. Let's rinse it off and see what we got. Do some finishing strokes. And move on to the head shave. We got a union razor set up here. Nicely. I've got 4 union razors. 2 of them have black handles. 2 of them have white handles. The black handles were both honed up on Arkansas black, and the white ones, one was on a white translucent and the other on a true hard, which have got mixed black and white in it. All of those stones, no, 3 of the black and the hard black and the true hard are Dan's whetstone, and the translucent is a Norton. But they're all 100% Novaculite, which is, they're just wonderful stones. It's always hard to see, as I often say, after I've just had a haircut with the clippers, to see my hair where the lines are. Just wonderful. All right, we'll move on to the head shave. That's the union razor. I've got hot water here at the house, unlike the Love's Truck Stop at Herculaneum, Missouri. They got hot water in the shower, but their sink water is just tepid as all get out. And I don't like it, but what can I do about it? Except complain, which I do. Love's has, and I can't say this about all the truck stops, because Flying J and Petros in particular, I don't know too much about TA, except I know that they're owned by the Petro company. Petro and TA are owned by the same company, and Flying J and Pilot are owned by the same company. Flying J is their own breed. But the thing about Flying J and Pilot, not Pilot, perhaps Pilot, but more so Flying J and Petros, is that they're real truck stops. They are real truck stops. How do I know that? Because most of them have parking. Well, this is not the only thing, but they have like 150 to 200 parking places at most of their locations. But that's not the dead giveaway. And it's not that they've got showers, because most of them have, all the brands have showers. You know what the real difference is between a truck stop, a real truck stop, a trucker's truck stop, which Flying J and Petros are, and pretenders, is that inside the Flying J and the Petros, they have a driver's lounge. They have a place where a driver can go in, sit down, watch TV, get out of the truck, relax. And I can't say that. Certainly Love's is a convenience store that pretends to be a truck stop. And their customer service is commensurate with that level of mentality. They're a convenience store. Now, you'll run across nice people there, sure, but you also run across a whole lot of not so very nice people. I have never been treated badly at a Petros or Flying J, but that's not where my company wants me to get fuel. And so they want us to get fuel at Love's. Love's has a generous, this is the one thing about Love's that the others could improve on, and that is their driver rewards program. You buy X amount of gallons of diesel per month, you get all these little bennies that are useful to drivers on the road. if you can hear this music and hear it in the background, that's the kind of music I sleep to at night. Yes, I have it turned down much softer than it is now. But I like drifting off to that floaty kind of music. I'm not paying too much attention to the lines here because they are so faint to me without my glasses, and I'm not gonna. No, that feels just fine. My next shave will be on Sunday, and just those, well, which is about 36 hours from now, a little less maybe. I put a little dab in my hand from the brush. Okay, that does it for the head shave. Let's get some refinements going on here. And I forgot to bring them up, so stand by just a second. First, we're going to use the Ozma alum block, then we'll use the Thayer's lavender. And I got this little bit of, this is an old bottle. This is at least 20-year-old bottle. But we'll try some. I've got a couple other newer ones in the cabinet back there when I was buying up all this stuff a few years ago. No more than 2 or 3, 4 years ago. All right, let's get some. Yeah, when the weather starts to turn warm, there's not much cold water in Texas. In Houston, it turned warm pretty quick out of the cold spigot. Okay, now Thayer's. Now the Lilac Vegetal Panade. All right. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for staying with me this long, and we'll see you down the road.